Welcome back to SourceFed. I'm Steven Suptic.
And I'm Ava Gordy. Over the weekend, sexual harassment and sexism allegations were made against Uber HR and management.
An Uber employee by the name of Susan Fowler released a blog post about her time with the company. The post highlighted disconcerting messages sent to her, such as, "On my first official day rotating on the team, my new manager sent me a string of messages over company chat. He was in an open relationship," he said, "and his girlfriend was having an easy time finding new partners, but he wasn't. He was trying to stay out of trouble at work," he said, "but he couldn't help getting in trouble because he was looking for women to have sex with."
That's like almost like when it was my first day working here and Steven sent me this message. "Dear Ava, I've been locked in the bathroom for 2.5 days. I don't expect you to understand, but I expect your help. Love, Steven."
It's a lot easier than you'd think to get trapped in the bathroom, especially when you have soapy hands, and slippery doorknobs are more than just an obstacle.
So like any weirded out employee would do if they received messages asking for sex from a coworker, she went to HR and the situation was dealt with immediately. And by immediately, I mean completely inappropriately. Fowler said, "Upper management told me that he," referring to her manager, "was a high performer, i.e. had stellar performance reviews from his superiors, and they wouldn't feel comfortable punishing him for what was probably just an innocent mistake on his part, and was told he would get a stern talking to because it was just his first offense."
After reporting this to HR, she was given the options of either leaving that specific team, never interacting with him again, or staying on the team, but understanding that said manager would most likely give her a poor performance review for not having sex with him.
She chose the leave option, shockingly. And as she met other women on other teams, she found out that her manager had been reported in the past and said that within a few months he was reported once again for inappropriate behavior, and those who reported him were told it was still his first offense.
After many reports to HR over discrimination and sexism and conversations with multiple women and HR reps, nothing changed except Susan Fowler's performance score going down.
So clearly, if what Fowler is saying is true, that's one count of sexual harassment and multiple counts of sexism in the workplace. We saw some comments online that said maybe the problem is the overuse of the term sexual harassment, which is definitely arguable. Fowler says sexual harassment one time in her post in direct response to the only occurrence that was actually sexual harassment. But it's interesting seeing Fowler recount what happened calmly, barely using the term herself, yet because media organizations use sexual harassment in the headlines of their articles, people latch on to the word harassment and think Fowler may be exaggerating because it was just an email.
So what is sexual harassment? Can one email really constitute this much of a controversy? By definition, sexual harassment is the making of unwanted sexual advances or obscene remarks. Well, I think it's possible to say that some guy you work with on your first day sending you an email trying to smash is pretty out of the ordinary, in a sense that, yeah, it's probably pretty uncomfortable. Believe it or not, I get harassed all the time because of my juicy body. You think this saucy ass can walk past a construction site without a couple whistles? Wrong. I am what the boys want.
She recounts more than an instance of sexual harassment. Fowler believes Uber as a whole is sexist. The organization she was part of started at 25% women and dropped all the way to 3% by her last day. She said, "When I asked our director at an organization all hands about what was being done about the dwindling numbers of women in the organization compared to the rest of the company, his reply was, in a nutshell, that the women of Uber just needed to step up and be better engineers." So I think it's important to note here that this blog post is a recount of events from her perspective. Even as she just said, his reply was, "in a nutshell," which makes me wonder whether or not that's what he meant.
But there's always the possibility that her director was right. Maybe they weren't getting as many female applicants. I mean, as a woman, Uber doesn't really interest me. So another instance Fowler recounts is the director of her engineering organization wanting to order leather jackets for all of the SREs, which is some lame-ass, nerdy engineering term. I don't know. One day, all 6 women out of 150 employees got an email saying there just weren't enough women to warrant placing the order for the jackets for them.
After Susan replied saying she saw no reason why Uber couldn't afford jackets for only 6 women, the director said that they were getting equality by not getting the jackets. Plot twist. Fowler wrote in her blog post, he said that because there were so many men in the organization, they had gotten a significant discount on the men's jackets, but not on the women's jackets. And it wouldn't be equal or fair, he argued, to give the women leather jackets that cost a little more than the men's jackets.
I mean, it makes sense. Uber did just lose $2.8 billion last year, and who knows how much money they're losing from Earth's real heroes, the Uber app protesters. Probably trillions.
Leather jackets are expensive in general. Why not just get some hats? So where's this situation now? Chief executive at Uber, Travis Kalanick, same person who calls his ability to get women on demand Boober, tweeted in response to this blog post, "What's described here is abhorrent and against everything we believe in. Anyone who behaves this way or thinks this is okay will be fired. I've instructed our CHRO Leanne to conduct an urgent investigation. There can be absolutely no place for this kind of behavior at Uber."
Uber also hired former U.S. Attorney General Eric H. Holder Jr. to lead the investigation of sexual harassment and discrimination claims. Not only that, Kalanick also said, "What is driving me through all this is a determination that we take what's happened as an opportunity to heal wounds of the past and set a new standard for justice in the workplace." Boober. It sounds a lot like Batman. And if I know anything about Batman, it's that he doesn't kill people. So if Kalanick doesn't kill people, he's A-okay with me. Unless his story is written and directed by Zack Snyder, in which case I will think twice about seeing his interpretation of Batman.
I never really know what Steven's talking about. Just to be honest. And you may be wondering, why doesn't she just sue Uber? Well, friendly viewer, thank you for asking. Because it's money and time and it's hard. And writing a blog post is free and it's easy. But I assume that throughout this investigation, the alleged proof will come out or it won't. Or she might even be preparing to sue them right now. We don't know.
So will Eric Holder solve the case of the sexual harassment? Or will we unmask him and discover that he's a creepy little lizard boy bent on burying the truth and settling out of court?
Or will he end up being the aforementioned man who sexually harassed Susan and this is actually just an episode of Scooby-Doo? Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this whole situation.
And on your way out, perhaps hit subscribe. Or if you're a dirty boy like me, hit like. Or if you're a violent little baby man, share the video. I'm Steven, the Hammer.
And I'm Ava Gordy. Thank you so much for watching. But what about her hole? Or the hole in her heart.
The hole in her heart.
Yeah, not like her
Got it.
other holes and stuff. What do you say to those who believe you're a symbol of the alt-right community?